Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1980A, and today's date is September 26, 2019, and the title of the episode is Economic Control Belongs to the Patriots. Central bank days are numbered. Now, before we get started, I wanted to talk about protecting yourself. Nothing invokes full-scale panic like Wall Street panicking, but quietly, secretly, U.S. corporate insiders, they're preparing. CNN reported $600 million of stocks has been sold each day in August. This only happened previously before the 2008 crash. Meanwhile, gold is rocketing, and demand is at a 3-year high, according to the World Gold Council. Precious metals, gold, silver, as an IRA or 401k rollover will keep you safe and help you ride out the latest storm. Call Noble Gold right now at 877-646-5347, or you can hit the link below and you'll get the free gold and silver investment guide that has been downloaded over 50,000 times. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, what we are watching here is Trump and the Patriots taking control of the economy. This needed to be done. And like I said many times before, this is not to improve this central bank system. Actually, if you really look at what's happening here, they're destroying the central bank system. Think about it. Do you think the central banks really want zero or negative interest rates? Do you really think the central banks want to loan out their currency with no interest attached or at negative rates? Do you really think the central bank wants to be completely exposed to all this debt? Do you really think the central bank wants the entire global economic system to come down while they have no cover whatsoever? No. Think about what Trump is doing. Think about what other leaders are doing. Think about the global economy. Now, Trump told us that the globalists have no future, which means the central bankers have no future. Remember, the central bank plan is to have a one currency system that is worldwide. They don't like having these separate currencies in different countries. They don't like having these different leaders in different countries. Very difficult to control. It's much easier if the central bank controls everything and they control just one currency. Then every single nation needs to do whatever they say. They are the globalists. When Trump was out there telling everyone that the globalists, they have no future, he's talking about the central bank. The private Western Central Bank. It has no future in the next economic system. Their days are numbered. And you can see that what Trump is doing right now, it's not just about winning the election in 2020. He's making the central bank completely obsolete by bringing the interest rates lower and lower. Look, the EU, they're already at negative. He needs to bring the rates down. He needs to start stimulus, which has already started. Even though they're going to tell us it's going to start in November, it really has already started to keep this system afloat. Remember, the central bank system, it's imploding. This was never, ever meant to last this long. Trump and the Patriots, they know this. They also know that if they use the same exact tools that Obama did back in 2008 moving forward, they know that they can keep the system going. They can kick the can down the street. And that's exactly what they're doing. We can see this. We can see that it is working. Now, a lot of individuals, they're going to say that we're going to collapse any second. Now, remember, we went through this before. Yes, the economy looks awful. The real estate market, everything that you look at is built on an illusion. The illusion is being propped up once again, and it is working. Is it going to stay this way? Is this what Trump and the Patriots want? They want to keep this illusion alive for many, many years? No. This will not help the everyday person. So what they're going to do is they're going to transition us out of this central bank system. Now, if we look at the economy today, yesterday I reported on new home sales, how they rebounded. Existing home sales have rebounded. And guess what? Pending home sales have rebounded. They rose by 1.3% month on month. And if you look at the year on year, they've risen by 2.48%. We're seeing a complete turnaround right now. And this is exactly what Trump and the Patriots wanted to do. This is their way of controlling the economic system. They set up a shield around the economic system. And no matter what the mainstream media says, they will not be able to penetrate this shield. No matter how many times they say recession, Trump and the Patriots will not allow a recession to happen until they want it to happen. Think about what we talked about in reports going back many years. The central bank, over the many years, they can control when the economy does well. They can control when the economy implodes on itself and goes into a recession or depression. Then they can prop it up again, and then they can have the same thing happen again. The central bank system is designed that way. It's not an open, free system. The stock market is not an open, free stock market. The precious metal market is not an open, free precious metal market. It's all controlled. They manipulate precious metals on purpose. They don't want people buying precious metals. They want people investing in the stock market using the dollar, or I should say the Federal Reserve note. They do this on purpose. They manipulate everything so they can control everything. Not just here in the United States. The ECB does this with all the countries within their group. They can control all of it, and they like to put countries into debt. This is how they control them. But this control is disappearing. The central banks around the world, they are the ones that are having problems. Yesterday we talked about how Russia is calling out the IMF. It has already begun. Trump is calling out the Fed. Soon we'll hear other countries call out different central banks. There's a plan that is in place. They're doing this on purpose. They need to bring all of this together. Now, is this going to happen in 2019 or 2020? No. Remember, we're in the planning stage right now, and there are many, many moving pieces. And as you can see, the market is still staying up there. Yes, it bobs up and down. Precious metals is staying over 1,500. Yes, it's going to bob up and down. Don't worry. When it drops, that's when I would purchase. If you can't afford gold, I would purchase silver. This is your insurance policy. The Federal Reserve note will not always be there. Trump and the Patriots, just like in 71, going back in time, right before 71, the central bank system, they were planning on removing us from the gold standard because the central bank system attached to the gold standard, they can't do what they do best, and that is create currency, put nations into debt, and a lot more debt spread around the world. That's why they had to remove us off the gold standard, to get full and utter control. And Trump right now, with these 3 years, they've been working on a plan to transition us back to where we were prior to 1913, to bring us back to sound money, where the government will no longer just be able to borrow and borrow and borrow and actually never ever pay it back and put the burden on the people. That's not what the founding fathers wanted. They didn't want interest attached to currency that was created by the government. They didn't want a central bank that had nothing to do with the government or the people. They wanted a system where there were checks and balances, where everything can be repaid if needed. And they didn't want people taxed. That's not how this was set up. The central bankers, they like to create currency out of thin air and then attach interest and have governments borrow it. The central bank likes to create tax policies to enslave the people. The central bank likes to manipulate the market so they can stay in control. They're losing control right now. As soon as Trump gets the Fed at 0%, which I don't believe will be that long, I believe the central bank is going to lower the rates once again. And then coming 2020, we're going to see Trump really push very hard. They're going to lower it even faster than they're doing it now, just like they started to raise the rates very slowly. Then they said, okay, we're going to do it 4 times this year. And they did it in 2018. And then Q told us, yeah, we're stopping this. We know exactly what they're trying to do. So in 2020, we're going to see the rates come down. He needs to make the Fed obsolete, 0% or maybe even negative, just like the ECB. And he needs to take the Fed out of the picture. Because once the Fed is out of the picture, because what else are they doing? I mean, think about what Trump is saying. We need to cut rates. We need to cut rates. Is he asking the Fed to help with the economic plan? No. He's only asking them to cut rates and to pump money, currency into the system. That's it. Once he gets them to 0 or negative, he doesn't need them anymore. He's free to do what he needs to do. They're out of the picture. And at this point, this is when Trump and the Patriots can go to work. This is when they can transition. This is when they can say, okay, let's start moving everything to sound money. And of course, it's not just going to be like a snap of a finger and they're going to start moving. There will be an event. There will be some type of crisis. They're going to use this. And what is the crisis? It's going to be a recession, depression, an implosion of the global economic system. Because how else do you show and expose a central bank system without having some type of crisis or event? Think about it. This is what they've used over and over and over on the people to get their way. Now the opposite's going to happen. Trump is going to use, again, their weapons against them and use a crisis, which is their crisis, a recession, depression, and he's going to use it against them to usher in an audit bill, to usher in sound money, to say maybe we shouldn't be working with the Federal Reserve anymore. Maybe we should create the currency on our own. All of this is going to happen. They're building up to this. And that's why I say the central bank days, they are numbered. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.